shit! Floopy goober motherfucker!
I'm assuming you've seen the title of this video and know that I'm going to be talking about War of the Monsters. If you don't know what War of the Monsters is, it's a third-person monster fighting game released in 2003 for the PlayStation 2. Think of Rampage in 3D on steroids. Now my issue is, whenever I see someone on the internet asking, what's the best PS2 game, I rarely ever see War of the Monsters mentioned when it absolutely deserves a spot up there. Meanwhile, you've got some guy saying games like Snoopy vs. the Red Baron and Robin Hood Defender of the Crown. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you why the next time you see some Reddit thread or some Twitter user asking what's an amazing PS2 game, you reach for your keyboard and start typing WAROFTHEMONSTERS. Cause it's War of the Monsters, baby. Right when you launch War of the Monsters, you're faced with this animation showing the origins of each of the characters in the game. Who are the characters? Well, you've got your basics, some bug, a robot, a bunch of rocks, King Kong, Godzilla, but then you've got Optimus Prime, Charizard, Electric Mike Wazowski, the four-arm red guy from Ben 10, and the alien from The Simpsons. Each of these characters also has 3 extra skins for you to unlock through playing the game. Now where are you going to fight these guys? On the 13 maps, of course. And it's not like all these maps are tiny either. You've got a good amount of space to fight up to 3 other characters at once. These maps are also ahead of their time. They have Levolution before Battlefield 4. You can break buildings until they fall down, you can rip off the antennas to impale enemies, there's cars and helicopters all around you can just grab, and a number of the maps have their own unique environmental hazards, interactions, and natural disasters. Take that, Battlefield 2042. Like on Tsunopolis, if you hit the flying UFO, it starts a whole tsunami that forces you to climb high or get swept away. On Club Caldera, if you mess around in the volcano, it starts shooting out magma rocks. On Atomic Island, you can release a radioactive liquid that kills you if you stand in it too long. And on Baytown, you can destroy all the buildings and trees and cause a full-on earthquake that opens up the ground and completely changes the map for the rest of the game. I still remember finding this out by chance just messing around with my friend one day, and it became a whole new way to play that map. Now, onto the fighting itself. This wasn't just some regular button mashing, stun, lock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, and bop 'em type fighting game. Each character has their own set of abilities and combos, as well as a special ability. For the special ability, you have a close range one, which is typically just you creating an explosion around yourself and launching enemies away, but you also have a long range ability, such as on Praetor, you can release this flying bug that latches onto enemies, and as Robo 47, you can shoot a missile out of your head. You can both block and grab enemies to counter this block. You also have a basic range ability, which is linked to your stamina, which you have to pick up these blue orbs around the map to recharge. There are also green orbs for health, a red orb for your special ability, and even this silverish cube that turns you invisible for a bit. These pickups made fights last longer as you weren't forced to constantly fight your opponent, and you could try running away to heal up or recharge stamina. The controls definitely do feel a bit janky at first, especially with the Doom turning on the left stick, but once you get used to them, you have a much stronger control over your character, with the ability to free aim, strafe, and lock on. This game also had the split screen to shared screen transition way before the LEGO games. It's a bit confusing for the first few times when it happens, but again, I think it works well once you get used to it. As for the game modes, first you've got a whole campaign with adventure mode in which you fight the regular characters as well as a number of bosses. Now, I'm not going to say the campaign was groundbreaking or anything since it was just a few pre-selected fights, but it was good fun if you're playing solo, and it's a good way to learn the game. It was also fun for if you wanted to try and beat it as each of the different characters. As far as solo modes go, you also have endurance mode, where you just keep fighting monsters until you eventually lose, and then you also have the free mode, where you choose the map and characters you want to fight against. Now, where the most fun was the multiplayer modes, where you could 1v1 your friend, or free-for-all against 2 other AI characters. There is also an elimination mode, where every time you die you get to choose another character to play as. Much like other fighting games such as Mortal Kombat or Super Smash Bros., the best way to play was sitting next to a friend shit-talking each other and trying out different combinations of characters and maps to play with. War of the Monsters is the realization of those types of dream games you have as a kid where you're like, man, I wish Godzilla or King Kong or Pacific Rim was a video game and you could fight as these giant monsters on some big city map. This game provided me and my friends with countless hours of fun as kids due to the variety in characters, maps, and Easter eggs to mess around with. While this game did get brought back to the PS4, I'm sad it didn't get a proper continuation. This game absolutely deserves to be heralded as one of the best local multiplayer fighting games on the PS2, and maybe even ever. We really don't see many games like this nowadays, and even then, the closest game to it was just Godzilla Unleashed. So next time someone on the internet starts some discussion on the greatest PS2 games, Keep this game in mind, and hopefully if enough people hype it up, some developer sees it and starts making War of the Monsters 2. So, are there any games you think don't get the hype they deserve? Let me know in the comments below. Take care.